I thank the distinguished observer of the Observer State of the Holy See. I now give the floor to the observer of the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance.
Mr. President, Excellencies, International IDEA reaffirms our unwavering commitment to democracy, sovereignty, and the right of all people to determine their future through free and fair elections. International IDEA welcomes all diplomatic efforts aimed at securing a just peace in Ukraine. But peace must be rooted in justice, sovereignty, and international law, not imposed through ultimatums or political expediency. Any settlement must uphold the core principles of the UN Charter. Russia's illegal aggression, ongoing since 2014, is a blatant violation of Ukraine's territorial integrity and the fundamental right of its people to self-determination. These principles are non-negotiable. Any diplomatic effort to bring the war to an end must recognize that the decision to hold elections in Ukraine belongs to Ukraine alone and is rooted in international law. According to Ukrainian law, elections can only take place after martial law is lifted. No external actor has the right to dictate the timing or conditions of Ukraine's democratic processes. No external actor has this right. Democracy cannot be imposed under the shadow of war, nor can elections be used as a tool for political expediency. A lasting and just peace in Ukraine requires a clear and principled sequence of actions. A ceasefire must come first, followed by a sustainable peace agreement. Only then can free, fair, and legitimate elections take place. Any attempt to reverse this order, forcing elections before peace is secured, would be reckless and dangerous. It would risk further destabilizing Ukraine, undermining its democratic integrity, and ultimately serving the interests of Russia, who launched this brutal war in the first place. Even after hostilities cease, organizing elections in Ukraine will be an enormous challenge. Millions of Ukrainians have been forcibly displaced, both within their country and abroad. Ensuring their right to vote in a free and fair manner will require careful planning and immense international support. For elections to be meaningful, Ukraine will need large-scale logistical, technological, and political assistance. The international community must stand ready to help rebuild electoral infrastructure, restore access to independent media, and support displaced voters in exercising their democratic rights. A rushed or ill-prepared election would have catastrophic consequences for peace and for Ukraine. It could jeopardize the legitimacy of the result, fuel external and internal tensions, and provide propaganda ammunition to the enemies of democracy, the very same forces that waged war against Ukraine in the first place. Ukraine is and has always been a democracy under attack. The Ukrainian people have fought and sacrificed not just for their right to live in an independent country, but for their right to live under a democratic system. A just peace must ensure that Ukraine remains a sovereign, democratic state where its people, not foreign powers, dictate their future. International IDEA calls upon all UN member states to support this legitimate goal. We stand ready to assist Ukraine's democratic institutions, particularly its electoral authorities, in preparing for the day when conditions allow for elections that meet international standards. Democracy must not become a casualty of war, nor should it be used as a bargaining chip to legitimize aggression. There can be no free elections without security. There can be no democracy without sovereignty. There can be no lasting peace without justice. This assembly must stand firm in defense of these principles and ensure that Ukraine emerges from this war stronger, sovereign, and democratic. Дякую.
I thank the distinguished representative of the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. I now give the floor to the distinguished observer of the Sovereign Order of Malta.